Hi, Ron here from L.T.L Tutoring Central, and this week I'm still talking about fun summer learning, but I'm talking about what I've called indoor games. And I've just called them indoor games to separate them from sports, which are also great, have some great learning points. But I'm talking about card games, board games, video games, those kind of games you often do play indoors. And there are so many learning opportunities, and there's a lot of choices. There's thousands of games to choose from, and at all age levels or skill levels. So there's lots and lots of choice. And there are lots of learning points. There's math, of course, for many of the card games or board games, even the video games. There's adding, there's multiplication, there's matching, pairing, these kinds of math skills, sequencing. So that's very important. There's also reading, because you often need to read. Sometimes in games there's cards that you need to read, but also there's the instructions or directions, so you can go over those. And even if you've played the game for a long time, it might be worthwhile to get your children to read the directions to you or read them together. And you might find out that you've either been playing some parts wrong or that there are certain methods or tricks that you've forgotten about. And it just gives them an opportunity to practice reading as well, so that's important. And so there's math skills, there's reading skills, in some cases there's writing skills or typing skills at least. If you're doing video games and you're doing storylines and things, sometimes you're creating characters or creating entire cities. So there's lots of creative learning involved in some games as well. And you can choose games, obviously try to choose games that your children can get enjoying fairly quickly. I mean, most have a little bit of learning time, but if it's really difficult, it's going to feel too much like school, and it's going to feel it's not going to be fun. So you want it to be fun. You want it to be a fun learning experience for both of you, because probably the most important piece is the social aspect. You know, the contact between you and your children, and having a good time together and enjoying the learning experience as well as the playing experience. And that's really critical. And you want to sort of help them learn how to be gracious losers and also gracious winners, because a lot of people don't know how to do either one of those, or they're okay with one but not so much the other. So you want them to be able to enjoy the game and recognize that winning or losing the game is not a judgment on themselves. And the learning piece here is that over time they will incorporate that into their academic learning. They will recognize that getting a good grade, while it is, feels really good and it's a wonderful experience, it isn't everything. And if you get a bad grade, it's not a judgment on you personally. It just means you have to work a little harder, or maybe you have to work a little differently to get to the goal that you're trying to reach. The other piece of the social aspect is that, and the reading, is that they'll learn that by teaching you, so allow them to teach you some of the tricks or the methods. Allow them to read the directions to you. Because when we teach someone else, we not only learn the material better ourselves, but we retain it. We remember it much longer. And if they learn that while playing games and having a lot of fun, over time, and you may need to encourage this a bit when they're back in school, they will learn that this works in the academic environment as well. So if they're having difficulty with something, if they teach someone else, they teach you, they teach a brother or sister or another classmate in school, or the wall. Teach the wall. If nobody's around, talk to the wall, because just pretend that you're teaching somebody, and you're going to remember that a lot longer. That's why playing school is so important for children. I love it when young children are playing school and trying to teach one another, because I realize they're going to remember this experience. It feels good to teach someone else, and it forces you to explain things more clearly, and that helps you to understand it better, and it helps you to remember. So you can see that games can be very useful. There's a lot of other learning points I haven't discussed here. I haven't discussed specific games. You can choose the games that will work for you and your family. There are relatively easy games for especially younger children or children that don't have the skills yet for the more complex games. And of course, you can do the much more difficult games as you progress. But in all of this, you want to make sure that you're having fun while still learning. It won't even feel like learning, but it really is. There's lots of learning points when playing games. I've written the blog. I'm going to put the link below to the blog, and that's all about fun summer learning and indoor games as well. I'll put a link to the website also. And in addition to playing games and cooking, which was our last video blog, and other fun summer learning activities that you can do at home, you can always get a little extra help from a tutor like myself. So don't be afraid to email or give me a call. We can set up online lessons, or if you're local, I tutor right behind me at the big table, reading, writing, math skills, and possibly more importantly, study skills and strategies that will really help you continue to learn throughout your life. Very, very important. I do children, but I do adults as well. So you yourself can get in touch if you want to improve your writing, your reading skills, or your basic math skills. My name is Ron Johnson with L.T.L. Tutoring Central, and until next week, have a wonderful time and keep learning and keep having fun.